Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Yes, it's the Skeptic Zone podcast, episode number 693 for the 16th of January, 2022. Richard Saunders here with you from Sydney, Australia. It continues to be hot, muggy, some rains, some thunderstorms, and did I mention muggy? Coming up on this week's show, we look at some of the more, how shall I put this, far-fetched, bizarre, crazy ads, sponsored ads appearing on Facebook. In particular, ads for Detox foot patches or foot pads. Yes, stick these things on your feet, have a sleep, wake up, and peel off the toxins. That's the claim. Does that stack up? Spoiler, no. But we will look at some of these crazy ads appearing in Facebook. And why do they appear in Facebook? Well, I guess it's just business. Following that, it's the Australian Skeptics newsletter for this week, read by Adrian Hill from Canada. Yes, it makes perfect sense. Somebody from Canada reading stories about Australia. Well, why not? She does it so well. Then to round off the show, we wander into the Trove treasure, the treasure trove at Trove, at trove.nla.gov.au for your online resource for media. And this time we'll be looking at crop circles. Remember them? Remember crop circles. Wow, that's going back. Imagine that. It's a great indication that something doesn't work or it's not real when it becomes just part of a tidbit of history. Oh yeah, I remember crop circles. Weren't they a thing once? I think they're still going, but they've certainly lost a lot of their novelty. 10, 15 years ago, it was a huge news in the skeptical world and reported on in general, and documentaries being made about it. And indeed, about 16 years ago, I appeared on a TV show here in Australia to put the case for skepticism against somebody from the Netherlands who was and still is a die-hard crop circle believer, as in she believes crop circles are made by aliens. I will play a clip from that TV show and read lots of reports about crop circles coming up to round off this week's episode of the Skeptic Zone. Yes, as I look out the Skeptic Zone studio window, cloudy again. Clouds are okay. Don't knock clouds, it's okay. I don't like being in the broad sunlight on a hot, sticky day. I find it very uncomfortable. So some clouds to me are okay. Clouds are good. And every cloud has a silver lining. Is that how it works? Clouds over the ocean, clouds over the beach look very nice sometimes, very pretty. Now stay tuned at the end of the show after all the segments for more comments from me about the ongoing situation here in Australia with a certain tennis player. But now it's time for me to run downstairs and serve myself. Get it? Tennis, serve. Don't give up your day job, Saunders. Serve myself some eggs on toast. While I do that, I hope you enjoy the Skeptic Zone. Now, like many of you, I am on Facebook. I've been on Facebook for many, many, many years, probably from about 2007, something like that. And I use it frequently, mainly to keep in touch with friends and family. I try not to spend too much time on it, just scrolling through, but sometimes I do that. And some weeks ago or months ago, up popped an ad in my feed, on my Facebook feed, for foot patches. Now these are the patches you stick on the bottom of your foot. They have wood pulp and other things apparently in the patch itself. You wear them for a while, peel them off, and it looks like all sorts of nasty toxins and terrible things have come out through the soles of your feet, where in fact it's just the sweat from your feet reacting to the material in the patch itself. It is, of course, a scam. The whole idea that you can detoxify yourself through patches on your foot is ridiculous. And a quick look at the Mayo Clinic website in this situation. Do detox foot pads really work? Answer from Brent A. Bauer, MD. There is no reliable evidence that detox foot pads work. Manufacturers of detox foot pads say their products draw toxins out of your body while you sleep. Some manufacturers have claimed that detox foot pads also treat high blood pressure, headaches, cellulite, depression, diabetes, insomnia, and aid in weight loss. Detox foot pads are stuck on the bottom of your feet and left there overnight, purportedly to draw out toxins such as heavy metals. When you peel off the detox foot pad in the morning, it's darkened or discolored. Appearance supposedly reflects the toxins that have been removed from your body. However, no scientific studies have been published that show that detox foot pads work or that they are safe. The Federal Trade Commission has even charged some distributors of detox foot pads with deceptive advertising. The bottom line, or the bottom of your feet line. As with anything that sounds too good to be true, your best bet is to wait for scientific evidence that proves a claim before investing your time and money. But that certainly doesn't stop these patches or pads from being a financial success. And this has prompted me to have a closer look at some of the advertisements that appear on my Facebook feed. I think because I did react to a foot patch one where I probably put a laughing face to say this is absurd. And ever since then, I've had no end of new age and mysterious ads appear. Let's have a look at some of them. Well, of the many foot pads, we have Bandu. B-A-N-Do, Bandu, sponsored. It's a sponsored ad. For all who ever struggled with busy lifestyle and chronic pain, meet Bandu Natural Foot Patch, formulated to remove toxins from the body overnight and improve overall well-being. And the little image there is somebody gleefully peeling off a foot patch off their foot. It's possible too that I may be getting more of these in some bizarre way because I filled out the little form to say this was misleading advertising. Let's have a quick look at the Bandu website. How an old traditional Eastern remedy came to the rescue of a middle-aged Western health worker. I was always skeptical of alternative medicine until one day a 44-year-old auxiliary nurse, Susan Hallett, was a dedicated healthcare professional working 12-hour shifts at a local hospital. Over the years, she has certainly seen her fair share of sick patients and has come to recognize many of the most common ailments at a glance. However, she was completely unable to self-diagnose her own medical condition, which for the past 5 months was getting steadily worse. Being employed in the healthcare service meant that she had the advantage of having direct access to doctors and consultants who also worked at the same hospital. Susan explained, I was beginning to feel extremely tired during my shifts, and I first put it down to the long hours I was working, finally catching up with me. So I tried to ignore it and carry on. No place for skepticism. As skeptical as she was, Susan bought some of the detox foot patches and put them to the test. Here's what she says. I kind of really didn't expect anything to happen after trying the patches, but to my total amazement, I began to feel better within just a day. After trying them for a few days, I began to feel I could get about again without having to stop and rest up. Then after 2 weeks, I was back to my usual self. I couldn't believe it, and neither could anyone else. Even my doctors were dumbfounded by my miracle cure, although they would never admit it, that some weird plant extract were responsible for my recovery. I bet they wouldn't. So who knows if this is completely made up or not? It doesn't matter. It's advertising. I don't think Facebook care either. And here's another one that appeared in my feed. Healthy You. 40% off store-wide sale today. That's up to $84 off. Do you know your feet store the most bacteria in your body? Gravity pushes excess fluids and body toxins down to the feet, where they build up throughout the day. Oh dear. No wonder my feet get smelly. These foot patches are the incredible detox system that naturally removes toxins and cleanses them from your body while you sleep. Who knew? Who knew that primates were evolved to excrete heavy metals and toxins through the soles of their feet? Who knew? It goes on. Removing the daily buildup of toxins from your body can help you sleep peacefully and longer, reduce body fat pain-free, cures stress and anxiety, helps maintaining your mental well-being, relieves body ache and reduce muscle fatigue, brightens complexion to look younger. Buy now and pay later with Afterpay. Australian owned and shipped from Australia. Well, thank goodness for that. So just relax, trust the process and enjoy an improved quality of life. Results in 6 hours. Clearance sale ends today, and the image accompanying this, two people with their feet up, with the foot patches stuck on their feet. Or is it the same person? No, it may be the same person. It's hard to tell. In any case, it might be a split image. But underneath we have thermal imaging of the feet before and after, presumably. It's hard to tell. It's pretty obscure. And before, the feet are nice cool colours, and after, the feet are reddish. What does it mean? It doesn't have to mean anything. And the comments, which who knows are probably fake or heavily moderated or who knows what, are usually, they're quite enthusiastic. Tess Hill says, these are awesome, more energy and better sleep. Yeah, that sounds like a realistic comment. Reply, thanks Tess for your positive feedback. We are looking forward to continuing doing business with you. Yeah, that sounds legit. But of course, it's not just foot patches that have come up on my feed ever since I interacted with one of these sort of advertisements. Here's a sample of some of the other things that now regularly appear. Spirit and Earth Magic Events. Join us for 2 days filled with magical stalls, and that's spelled with a K, M-A-G-I-C-K-A-L. Magical stalls and all things spiritual. Psychic readings, stage presentations, Wicca, alternative wellness and well-being. Healing practitioners. $5 at the door. Spirit Earth Magic, Psychic Fair, February the 5th to the 6th. Panthers Street, Richmond and North Richmond. Okay, well, I don't think, as much as I would love to go, because I do like going to these things, I don't think I'll be going to any public gathering in the near future. I don't think that's such a great idea. And a couple of years ago in 2020, we decided not to go to the Mind, Body, Wallet Festival because we feared a lot of the people who would go there would not be into vaccinations. And we were probably right. Here's one, another advertisement from Inner Lair. Have you astral projected? I'm sure you've heard at least one story about someone leaving their body and being able to explore the universe. You might be even that very person. Well, sadly I'm not, but it would be fun to zoom out and have a look at the James Webb Telescope in action. Anyway, what else does it say? A key part of these experiences for most people is that it probably happened by complete accident. Compare that to the ancient Egyptians, Greeks and Tibetans who not only practiced this art, they thrived with it. Really? The ability to project your consciousness out of your body has been around since the dawn of time. It was basically second nature for most of us for thousands of years. Unfortunately, the knowledge our ancestors painstakingly collected was targeted and kept hidden by a few specific groups for a long time. Because of that, up to now, the only available information was either incomplete, outdated, or worse, completely wrong. Imagine being able to go anywhere on our planet, solar system, or even the universe. And if you, quote, run out, end quote, of the universe to explore, just hop into another one. I think it would take more than a few weeks, probably, to explore the entirety of our universe. Maybe a bit longer, maybe a bit longer. Visit other dimensions, relive past lives, read your Akashic records, explore the astral plane, and get guidance from your spirit guide. You'd need it, I think. There is so much and more waiting for you to discover. What are you waiting for? My method for astral projection is safe, effective, and the best part is that you can access it immediately. That's a mighty big claim. Simply click the Learn More button and begin traveling the astral planes today. I would rather travel the aeroplanes today, quite frankly. And the accompanying images of the outline of a person sort of trapped in a giant plasma bolt of rainbow colours. So, mighty big claims there, Facebook, mighty big claims. Here's another one, an advertisement from Conscious Items. Buy one, get one free on everything. You will receive one free item of your choice for every single item you buy. There are no limits. That's very generous. We're moving our warehouse to Chattanooga, Tennessee. This will result in faster delivery times, wider variety of items, more premium services. Well, that's good. But first we need to empty the old warehouse. Maybe they can use the astral movers. For this one-time clearance sale, everything must go. And we can't guarantee it will all come back. Oh. If you've been keeping an eye out for something special, this could be your last chance to get it, and definitely your last chance to get it with this special deal. Don't know where to start? Check out the awesome healing lamp. Made from the majestic clear quartz, this beauty lights your room with healing energy. We're planting one tree for every time you buy, including the free ones. That's nice. So what are you waiting for? Add the healing lamp to the cart right now. Yes, I bet they can't wait to get rid of those from the warehouse. Again, Facebook, that's a mighty big claim, isn't it? A healing lamp with healing energy. Here's the next one. Dylin. D-Y-L-N. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. Why is this the world's healthiest water bottle? The Dylin water bottle turns any water you fill with into alkaline water in minutes. Why drink alkaline water? It says super hydrating, detoxifying, energizing. Shop now. And I notice there's been a reply or an icon there from a skeptic of a laughing face. Oh, another one from another detox foot patch. The Nubu Detox. N-U-U-B-U. After day number 5, I don't know if it's the pads or not, but I feel an increase in my mood. I felt motivated. Discount 70%. Last chance to grab this big promo. The Detox foot patches that balance both body and soul. That's convenient. These high-quality foot patches work by gently warming the soles of the feet during the night to draw the toxins out and complement the body's healing processes. That's why the thermal images was warm in the second image. I get it. A full 5-day detox course once a month or every few months can improve energy level, immune system, sleep quality, and overall mood and well-being. In brackets, individual results may vary. I bet. So again, Facebook, you tell me. It says here that this product can improve the immune system, where we know full well it can't. Detox foot pads benefits. 5 reasons why you need to try them. 1. Better sleep. 2. Weight loss. 3. Painless. Nature and safe. Nature and safe? 4. Help reduce toxins. 5. Less sugar cravings. Well, that's a new one. 30-day money-back guarantee, which hardly anybody takes advantage of. Here's another one. Now, what's this company called? Upskillist. Upskillist? I'm pronouncing that wrong, no doubt. So apologies to that company. I do not like to pronounce things incorrectly, but it's spelled Upskillist. Upskillist? It says, get 4 weeks free unlimited access to our Crystal Healing course. You are the power behind this ancient energy skill that is sure to enhance your psychic ability and enable you to start your very own practice. Globally recognized certification. No commitment. What are you waiting for? Start now. Try one and get one free, limited offer, 99 free. Join for a 4-week trial Crystal Healing online course. Well, there you go. Just some of the interesting advertisements coming my way. I'm sort of glad, I did click. It's good to keep my finger on the pulse, so to say. See what Facebook are happy advertising. Outrageous claims and magical thinking and all sorts of woo. Maybe you've seen some of these yourself in your own Facebook feed. It's a wild world out there, and one would hope that Facebook would be a bit more choosy. Oh no, it's a business. It's a business. It's like the magazines that have psychics or the TV shows. They know what their audience wants to see. And with target advertising, I wouldn't be surprised if most people listening to the Skeptic Zone, being skeptics, wouldn't see these things crop up in their Facebook feed because you'd be not very interested in them. So, with that, I think I better whack on my foot patches, go for an astral trip, and practice my crystal healing.
From the Data Skeptic podcast. If you're curious about the way data is changing our world, topics like AI and all this craziness with Facebook and bots and the Twitter storm and how the algorithms that underline that work, and you don't want a technical deep dive, you want it in the vernacular in a way that people can understand, check us out at Data Skeptic. That's what we try and do. I interview advanced professionals in the field who do this sort of research, and then I get into interesting projects as well. We're a weekly show, and you can find us at dataskeptic.com.
Hello, everyone. It's Adrienne Hill again from Canada, here to read the highlights from the Australian Skeptics newsletter for 2022. This is newsletter number 139, and you can subscribe to this newsletter and get it delivered to your inbox every other week, complete with links to all the stories. Just visit www.skeptics.com.au. But now, let's get to the newsletter and see what Tim Mendham has for us. Hi all, it says. We're back, and so of course is COVID. Or it never left, despite psychic and political predictions that, quote, we're over the worst, end quote, and, quote, it will just go away, end quote. So, we've avoided overdosing on the virus and vaccines in this first newsletter for 2022 by kicking off with more important subjects like psychics, science, pseudoscience, skepticism, and of course, haunted pubs. Read on. Tim. Okay, Tim, that's exactly what I shall do. And don't forget that each item comes with the link that you can click on when you subscribe to the newsletter. Australian Skeptics News. The reasons for science skepticism. An article looks at issues with trust in science and scientific consensus, which can be complex and founded on real concerns. But a cartoon puts it simply. Canadian survey on belief in astrology and the supernatural. Oh dear, my home country. Apparently, more than half of young Canadians believe in astrology, even while belief among the general population has actually dropped. As an aside, I'm guessing they are not using enough Canadian maple syrup while digesting their waffle. For some reason, belief is stronger in the Western regions. Mediumship, clairvoyance, and haunted houses don't rate as highly, with belief either stagnating or dropping. The truth behind pseudoscience. Interesting article in which a bunch of University of California science writers examine the evidence for ghost hunting, chemtrails, cryptozoology, and more. A useful set of short assessments. Dr. Oz shouldn't be a senator or a doctor. Yep, agree with that one. Scientific American article that suggests that the celebrity doctor's brand of misinformation has already tarnished medicine. Quote, "In the halls of Congress, he'd do much worse," end quote. When biblically inspired pseudoscience causes looting. A team of anthropologists have argued that flawed research linking biblical Sodom to an archaeological site led to media hype that harms science and encourages illegal excavations. Scientific Reports, a peer-reviewed journal operating under one of the world's leading scientific journals, Nature, published pseudoscientific research about a supposed ancient cosmic airburst destroying the Tal el-Hammam site in what is today Jordan. Scholars dissected the paper, discovering, quote, shoddy science, poor analysis of biological remains, edited images, overt religious agenda, and misinterpretations of stratigraphic contexts, end quote. But that didn't stop the media covering it, including such noted outlets as the Smithsonian and The Conversation. A history of medical conspiracies. Medical pseudoscience and conspiracy theories about causes and secret cures are not new. As this interesting article points out, these things stretch back to Roman times and follow a pattern of prejudice that repeats itself throughout history during times of fear, disease, and uncertainty. Courses on critical thinking and evolution. Think Inc., who managed the Skepticon convention back in 2017, is offering a 4-part online course on, quote, logical fallacies and biases, the art of critical thinking, end quote. February and April time slots are available. The course will cost $299 Australian dollars. Another course looks at, quote, sex, genes, and rock and roll, how evolution shaped the modern world, end quote. Again in 4 sessions during February. Same price as the critical thinking course. The December 2021 issue of The Skeptic is out, and it features complete coverage of the Great Australian Psychic Prediction Project, possibly the largest of its kind ever undertaken, and destined to be a reference for future discussion on the topic of psychics. The issue also features articles that analyze common myths about COVID by anti-vaxxers, the Nuremberg Code's supposed implications on vaccines as experimentation, and vaccine compensation schemes, proof that vaccines are more dangerous than authorities claim. Both articles make great reference works to put in front of hesitant or anti-vax people who cite such claims. Also included are Disappearing Countries, FSM Anniversary, and a book about bullshit. But don't blame us, that's the name of the book. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time to do so. Contact the editor if you're not sure if your existing subscription needs renewing. To subscribe to The Skeptic, go to our shop to sign up for a hard copy or digital edition, or both. The digital is offered free to those who take up the hard copy version. Learn more about our magazine and subscribe now. Skeptics in Action. If you have any ideas for stories or want to contribute to Skeptics communications, such as the magazine or Facebook page, or just have something you want to get off your chest, then you're welcome to get in touch. News leads should be sent to newstips@skeptics.com.au. Submissions for the magazine, etc. should go to editor@skeptics.com.au. Comments and suggestions, including those rude ones, should also go to editor@skeptics.com.au. Items of interest. Travel tip. England's ancient Ram Inn may be haunted. Here's why. The answer might be tourism. But while some pro-paranormalists love the place, others aren't exactly happy with, quote, the most haunted house in Britain, end quote, which dates back to 1145. They say the Gloucestershire Inn is pretty run down and no longer a working pub, but there is a good fish and chip shop nearby. Anti-5G necklaces found to be radioactive. These devices crop up from time to time, all emitting harmful ionizing radiation. Designed to ward off whatever is the evil threat of the day, 5G seems to be as good a villain as any at the moment. The current lot include an energy armor sleeping mask, bracelet, and necklace. A bracelet for children, branded Magnetics Wellness, was also found to be emitting radiation, which I actually find quite horrifying. Uri Geller to find Ark of the Covenant. The old spoonbender Uri Geller is back yet again, convinced he will cause an, quote, historical earthquake never before seen in history, end quote, when he finds the sacred Ark of the Covenant featured in an Indiana Jones movie. Though presumably not the actual one, because as we know, that's locked up in a warehouse in Area 51, along with Rosebud. Geller hopes to start digging for it later in the year. Miracle Cure, a thought experiment. A weird article that asks, what would the Catholic Church hierarchy do if confronted with a miracle cure for COVID? The author suggests agnostics would be more supportive because, quote, church leaders have invested heavily in the vaccination campaign, which would collapse as belief in the miracle spread, end quote. The way the scenario plays out is fascinating, in a stretching the logic sort of way. Silliest story of the week. Demi Lovato sings to ghosts to help them overcome trauma caused by sexism. Need we say more? And that's all for now. We encourage you to subscribe to the Skeptic magazine from Australia. I think you'll find it's one of the finest in the world. Until next time, this is Adrienne Hill signing off. God. That last one is just so funny. Demi Lovato sings to ghosts to help them overcome trauma caused by sexism. Oh my.
Hi, this is Susan Gerbic from GSOW. That's Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia. I want to thank everyone who, via the Skeptic Zone podcast, has contacted me to become an editor on Wikipedia. Together, we have worked on or created over 1,200 Wikipedia pages. Countless thousands of people all over the world access those pages each day. In fact, we're over 52 million page views. Like many listeners, I also give back to the Skeptic Zone via monthly micropayments, and I want to encourage you to do the same. Is the information and entertainment you get each week from the show worth $5 or $10 a month? I sure think it is. Follow the link at skepticzone.tv and show your practical support. Thank you.
Here we go once again, diving into the archives at trove@trove.nla.gov.au. your online resource for Australian digitised newspapers and so on, but we're also going further afield with digitised newspapers from the United States as well, as this week, in our look through the historical archives of the media, we're going to be examining that wonderful topic you don't hear too much about anymore, crop circles. Yes, crop circles, I well remember it. 16, 17 years ago. They were very popular. There were videos and movies and documentaries made about them. I even appeared on TV once here in Australia to, air quotes, debate. In fact, I think I'll play you a little bit about what I said, and this was about, I'm guessing 15, 16 years ago.
Now it's time for Sunrise in Focus, and do you know what crop circles are? Well, they're those weird geometric patterns that you often see mysteriously appear on agricultural fields.
But are they the result of supernatural forces or some busy landscape gardeners? Janet Ossibard is a crop circle researcher from Europe, and Richard Saunders is from the Australian Skeptics. Good morning to you both. Janet, to you first up, what do you believe causes crop circles?
I believe they're made by non-human intelligence.
Okay, tell us more.
Well, we have a lot of scientific evidence that the majority of crop circles are not made by humans, coming from the field of biophysics, chemistry, biology. So there's a lot of evidence for that. That leaves us with the question, okay, if it's not humans, then who make them? There's definitely an intelligence behind it, so the only sane conclusion one can draw is that they're made by a non-human intelligence. It's basically as simple as that.
And do you mean forces, or do you mean physically somebody comes here from outer space and lands and creates these?
Well, that depends on how you define alien.
A crop circle. Crop circle sounds a little bit like a breakfast cereal, doesn't it? Like Fruit Loops. But if I may ask Janet a quick question, if that's possible. Janet, how does one go about making a crop circle?
Say again, I can't hear you very well.
Oh, I'm sorry. How does one go about making a crop circle, if one wanted to make a crop circle?
What is the relevance of that question?
Well,
I mean, if science has proven that they're not man-made, then what's the relevance of this question? I don't understand.
Well, I thought I might help you out here. Actually, I downloaded the instructions from the internet, Beginner's Guide to Making a Crop Circle. Happy to pass that along to you. Pages and pages, detailed instructions.
I've seen it.
Here's a schoolboy in Denmark making a crop circle. Mm-hmm. There he goes, away, happily making a crop circle. I tell you what, David Dimbleby, the famous British journalist, here he is in the middle of a crop circle, which he has just made with a stonker, they're called. Here we are. Here's some more. Here's two guys in a field happily making crop circles. Look, the point I'm making is the only mystery, the only hoax going on here are people putting the hoax out that crop circles are made by aliens. Crop circles are easily understood. We know how to do it. You can download the instructions. They're made by humans. The hoax here is people selling the myth that strange aliens are coming down making crop circles.
All right, Janet. Sorry, yes, Janet, I'll let you respond.
Yes, my response is very simple. You obviously haven't done your homework. With all due respect, I mean, you haven't read the scientific reports, have you? 6%
please send them to me. Please send me the sign. I'd love to see them.
Guiding us through a very difficult time, basically. That's my opinion.
Okay, and now, Richard, you get 30 seconds as well.
It would be wonderful. Look, if crop circles were made by aliens, I think that would be fantastic. Why are they bothering scrawling lines in the crops? Why don't they help us? Why don't they bring rain to the drought-affected areas and feed millions of people? No, they make funny patterns in the crops. It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And we know how to do them.
Richard, thank you. Janet, thank you. I know you're over here in Australia to host some discussions. All the best, Janet.
Yes, that appearance was many years ago, 2005? I think it was, something like that. And I haven't heard of Janet Ossibard ever since, so I thought I'd do a little bit of Googling. I note she has a credit for the movie Crop Circle's Quest for Truth. I think I've got a copy of that movie kicking around here somewhere. I'm also finding a book here at Google Books, Crop Circles, The Evidence, by Janet M. Ossobard. And there's this page, ethealing.nl, NL being the Netherlands. Healing Center, Beyond Medicine, Extraterrestrial Healing and Communication. Janet Ossobard. Since 1994, Janet Ossobard is actively involved in crop circle research and the alien phenomena. Janet is national and international recognized as an authority in this field, and she organizes presentations around the world and regularly publishes new books and articles in leading magazines and web magazines. Few know that Janet is also deeply interested in the ancient alien civilizations that civilized the Earth in the distant past, like now it's either Hathors or Hathors in ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. In 2014, Janet came into contact with her ET guide and is able to cooperate with an extraterrestrial team with which she specializes in ET healing for animals. In her lectures, she sheds light on the different facets of the crop circles and extraterrestrials, and she addresses questions like, who are they? Who are the circle makers? What kind of consciousness are we dealing here with? And why do we receive these beautiful patterns in our fields? What do they want to tell us? Janet frankly shares her personal story and how this phenomenon has changed her entire life and how she came into contact with her ET guide. Her enthusiasm and expertise, combined with beautiful images of the live filmed appearance in second of a complex crop circle, as well as her passion for extraterrestrials, guarantee an unforgettable experience with Janet. Well, there you go. Somebody who is contacted extraterrestrials and is healing animals with an alien team. But really the fad has come and gone. You can still see crop circles. I'm sure there are still people making them. But the fad for people believing that they come from aliens or whatever it is, it's largely died out. These things come and go. Yes, it's safe to say that for many years now we've known what crop circles are. Nothing unworldly, supernatural, paranormal, out of this world by aliens, mysterious energies need apply. But why don't we see what Wikipedia has to say? Crop circle. Crop circle. Crop circles redirects here. A crop circle, crop formation, or corn circle is a pattern created by flattening a crop, usually a cereal. The term was first coined in the early 1980s by Colin Andrews. Crop circles have been described as all falling, quote, within the range of the sort of thing done in hoaxes, end quote. Although obscure natural causes or alien origins of crop circles are suggested by fringe theorists, there is no scientific evidence for such explanations, and all crop circles are consistent with human causation. History. The concept of crop circles began with the original hoaxers, Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley, starting in 1976. They said they were inspired by the Tully saucer nest case in Australia, where a farmer claimed to have seen a UFO, then found a flattened circle of swamp reeds. That's interesting. And it goes on. It's quite lengthy, but it also talks about the companies set up to create logos and designs in crop circles if you pay them enough money. There are some interesting videos online shot with night vision, with crop circle makers going out in the middle of the night and showing you exactly how it's done. So yes, there's no mystery. Although, you will find people to this day who think there are signs from the heavens or aliens or who knows what. But let's see what the media made of crop circles going back a few decades. And we're going to start with the Canberra Times in an article dated the 29th of July 1991. Quite a while ago. Intelligent forces draw triangles in barley field. London. Near the ancient stone rings of Stonehenge, researchers paced through wheat fields and puzzled over a modern mystery of giant circles and patterns attributed to everything from aliens to local pranksters. The researchers, from their seminar in the ancient southwest England town of Glastonbury to fields around Avebury, where circles, squares and even triangles have appeared in recent weeks. A farmer at Barbary Castle was charging admission fee to see a triangle-shaped one in a barley field, said Richard Fraser, an organiser for the conference. Mr. Fraser believes there is as yet no known satisfactory explanation of how the shapes are made, and some speakers at the conference said intelligent forces, unknown to science, must be at work. The shapes have appeared throughout Britain, but in the past few years most of them, and the most extraordinary ones, have appeared in south-western England. They are mainly in the county of Wiltshire, home of the prehistoric and genuinely mysterious stone circles of Stonehenge and Avebury, and in neighbouring Somerset. Glastonbury in Somerset is the centre of crop circle watchers and a natural place for them. The town, with its ruins of a once great abbey, is the site of England's earliest Christian foundation, and a romantic legend says relics of Jesus Christ's crucifixion were taken there by St. Joseph of Arimathea. Glastonbury is also the reputed burial site of King Arthur, of the Round Table Knights legend. Crop circles have been reported for centuries around the world, usually in fields of standing grain. Scientists who don't believe in unnatural phenomena are certain they are made naturally by eddies of winds moving over hilly ground. They say the recent complex shapes of circles, bars, squares and triangles are made by hoaxers working at night. Hoaxers have confessed to making circles and other shapes in Britain and Germany. Professor Hiroshi Kikuchi of Tokyo's Nippon University, who is visiting Britain, is quoted by London's Daily Telegraph on Friday as saying that little green men from the stars have nothing to do with the creation of crop circles and other patterns. He said these circles were found mostly in southern England because of winds, hills, and the proximity of the sea. The believers in unknown forces have rejected such mundane explanations, which goes to remind us once again that believers in all sorts of supernatural things will often reject Occam's razor. And now here's an interesting one from the New Scientist, dated the 2nd of September 1989, so going back now. And in the New Scientist, this should be interesting. Ionized whirlwinds could create crop circles. Circles of flattened crops may be produced by a natural weather phenomenon, according to Terence Maiden of the Circles Effect Research Group. He reports the account of an eyewitness, Ray Barnes, who watched a circle in the process of forming in 1982. Meaden believes that the account shows the mysterious circles are produced by vortices of air or small whirlwinds. Journal of Meteorology, Volume 14, page 265. Barnes saw the circle form in a field in Westbury, Wiltshire, while walking his dog one summer evening. He says he saw a wave front propagating through the heads of the cereal crop at about 50 miles per hour, along a path which was slightly curved. The advancing wave front suddenly swept around in a clockwise direction, creating a circle of 75-foot radius in about 4 seconds. The corn, which Barnes says was either winter barley or oats, rustled as it fell to the ground. Barnes also reported a hissing sound. The sky was clearing after a thunderstorm, and it was still raining slightly. Meaden suggests that a spinning column of air whose axis was parallel to the ground caused the wavefront that swept across the cornfield. When the column or vortex tilted slightly, it traced out the circle, just like a child's spinning top. Occam's razor, Occam's razor. Meteorologists know that vortices can develop in the lee of isolated hills, but the circle witnessed by Barnes formed on the side of a hill that was faced into the wind. Meaden suggests that different patterns of vortices could arise from the interplay between the shape of the land surface and wind speed. Skeptics of crop circles have drawn attention to the abrupt edges of the flattened circles. Often a stalk on the outside of the circle stands upright, while its neighbour, on the inside, lies quite flat. Skeptics have said that the edge of the vortex should be irregular because of turbulence in the air. Meaden suggests that sharp margins may develop because the air forming in the whirling column is ionized to make plasma. Carl Benedicts, a Swedish physicist, has suggested that such plasma may explain ball lightning. Now that's a very interesting report, and it's funny when people discard the simple explanation of people going out and making them, that they come up with all sorts of weird and wonderful ideas. And now here's a report in the Canberra Times dated the 12th of July 1989. Again, going quite a ways back. Crops have a unfamiliar ring. London. A series of circles flattening crops in fields across southern England could be the work of an unexplained intelligence. It was alleged on Monday night. 11 of these swirling shapes were reported in Hampshire and Wiltshire on Sunday, and 2 men investigating them claim there have been 170 so far this year. Local government official Colin Andrews said the phenomena could be linked with the 1987 death of a Harrier jump jet pilot whose body was found near a group of circles in Wiltshire after he fell from his plane. He said the pilot could have crossed a high-energy beam which may have caused the shapes. Mr. Andrews' partner, retired NASA radar expert Pat Delgado, said there must be some force field manipulated by some unexplained intelligence. He found 3 of the circles in 1981 and 110 reported last year, appearing at random in a 6.5 kilometre wide band running from Alfriston, West Sussex, to Warminster, Wiltshire. And apologies to any locals if I've pronounced that incorrectly. Mr. Delgado said he had warned the Ministry of Agriculture, which thought the shapes could be caused by small whirlwinds or farmers' fertilizers, that cereal crops within the rings should not be used for human consumption. There was evidence the circles affected insects, he claimed. A group of French UFO enthusiasts from a society called Lights in the Night travelled to Winchester on Monday to examine the rings. The Ministry of Defence said it could not comment. Oh, smoking gun or what? Sounds like a good conspiracy theory. And finally from the US, from the Indiana Gazette, dated Saturday the 12th of July 2003. And I think this was originally published in the San Francisco Chronicle by Stephen Rubenstein and Aaron Hollesy. Fairfield, California. 4 teenage boys admitted on Friday what the world is not ready to hear. There are no space aliens or flying saucers in Solano County. The 4 boys, ages 17 and 18, said they were the ones who created the dozen crop circles that have drawn hundreds of psychics, sages, visionaries, and other people in pointy hats to a wheat field west of Fairfield. But confessing to the prank turned out to be not nearly so difficult as persuading the world to believe their confession. Even the local district attorney has his doubts. "Hey, if people don't believe us, they don't believe us," said one of the boys, an 18-year-old sporting a beard and a tattoo. "There's nothing I can do about it." At an afternoon news conference just down the road from the crop circles, the boys, local high school students who insisted on remaining anonymous, swore they did it. They brought their original planning sketches for the circles. They brought the boards and ropes used to make them. They showed off the scratches the wheat stalks had left on their legs. One boy even brought his mother as a character witness. And then they used their boards and ropes to flatten a small patch of weeds to demonstrate their skills. "That isn't hard at all. It's fun," said another of the confessed pranksters, a 17-year-old boy who wore his New York Yankees ball cap backwards. "We were bored. There's nothing else to do around here." The boys said they were inspired by a TV documentary that explained just how easy it is to make crop circles, which crop circle partisans maintain are signs from space aliens. The boys said they snatched a couple of boards from a Fairfield construction site and, with one boy holding a water ski tow rope at a central point as a guide, stomped on the boards in a circular pattern in the wee hours of June 28. The mother of the 17-year-old said the boys admitted their deed to her just hours before returning from Larry Ballister's farm at the corner of Rockville and Susan Valley Roads. "They were a little apprehensive at first to tell me," said the mother, who wanted to be anonymous too. "My first response was, 'Where did you do it?' They said a field. They kind of giggled about it." The woman said she had seen her son, whom she described as gifted and talented, looking at a crop circle's website in the days before the design showed up in Ballister's field. He told her he was watching the documentary with his friends when one of them said, "Let's get up and do one. I think a lot of people just didn't believe that these kids could pull something of this magnitude off," the mother said. "They're not college kids, they're all still high school kids." The best part, the boys said, is that the believers still believe. The boys have returned to the site a dozen times to watch the procession of the faithful. They have admitted to all who would listen that they were behind the stunt, but no one wants to believe them. To bolster their claims, the boys took a reporter from the Vacaville Reporter to see 2 practice crop circles they made near the Budweiser Brewery a few miles south. Circles that so far had gone unnoticed. The mother said she and the other boys' parents think the boys should not face any criminal sanctions. What a wonderful story to end that little segment on crop circles, and the photograph accompanying the story, I dare say, is just a picture of a classic crop circle. It's quite elaborate and very large, with the caption, "Throngs of UFO enthusiasts, New Age followers, and associated believers in the paranormal have been flocking to Rockville, California, to see the crop circles that appeared 2 weeks ago." So there you go, crop circles in the media, both here in Australia and in the United States. And I dare say if we were to do the same search in the UK, we would find many, many more returns to our inquiry. But you too can find returns to your inquiry when you visit Trove at trove.nla.gov.au, and you never know what you might find. Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone this week. Now, people have been asking me to comment on the current situation with Novak Djokovic here in Australia. And at the time of recording, which is early on Sunday morning, he is yet to, or his legal team, they're yet to front up to another hearing here in Australia on a Sunday morning, which is highly unusual. The bottom line is his troubles, his woe, his troubles stem largely from the fact that he's not vaccinated, which is his right. But as they say, actions have consequences. So if he's not vaccinated, then he can expect to have certain restrictions and consequences for that. A lot of people were very ready to jump the gun and jump to conclusions and make absolute statements about the situation from a moral point of view, from a legal point of view, from a procedural point of view, where it appears likely at the moment he probably will be deported from the country for not being vaccinated or making misleading statements. And if that's the case, then so be it. But over the past week or so, this has been dragging on. I've been interested to see the reactions of people on both sides, his supporters and his detractors, leaping to conclusions when they don't know all the information. I didn't know all the information. The information was contradictory and confusing and misleading, and as on it went. Now, I think it's a pity he's not vaccinated. I think it's a pity he's not vaccinated and could advocate being vaccinated because he's such a high-profile tennis player, number one in the world. Wouldn't it be great if he could stand up and say, please, people, get vaccinated. I've been double vaxxed. I've had my booster. I encourage you to do the same. So he's not sending a good message in that respect. But ultimately, it's a matter of law. And if he has the right to appeal decisions legally, then that's the way it goes. That's why we have the rule of law. We don't always agree. We don't always like it. But it's so important that we stick to the rule of law. But ultimately, I think it looks like he will be deported. And I also read with some interest an account, and I think it's even from the man himself, how some years ago somebody did what seems to be an applied kinesiology test on him to show that he actually was gluten intolerant. Now, he may or may not be gluten intolerant. I don't know. But one thing I do know is he certainly was not diagnosed as such using applied kinesiology. It's quackery. And some people use it as a scam. Remember the days of the Power Balance wristband, and I've seen it used in all sorts of products, from foot insoles for feet to all sorts of bands and things like that, where people do these fake applied kinesiology tests, either as a scam, knowing full well that that's just a way to con people, or people sincerely believe they can actually test people using applied kinesiology. So many facets to this story, many indeed, but ultimately the lesson for me is to let things play out as best they can. But personally, I hope one day he might wake up and realize that the best thing he can do for himself, his fans, and society is to stand up, roll up his sleeve, and get vaccinated. Now, before I go, if you listen to the Data Skeptic program, and I played a promo earlier in the episode, on the latest episode, you can hear an interview with me talking once more about the Great Australian Psychic Prediction Project. And thanks to Kyle Polich for having me as a guest. A lot of fun. But for this week, this is Richard Saunders signing off from Sydney, Australia.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Please visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for show notes, contacts, and to access the back catalogue of episodes going back to 2008. You can follow the Skeptic Zone podcast on Twitter at Skeptic Zone, visit our Facebook page, or leave a review on iTunes. You can also support the Skeptic Zone via Patreon or PayPal. The Skeptic Zone podcast is an independent production. The views and opinions expressed on the Skeptic Zone are not necessarily those of Australian skeptics or any other skeptical organisation.